Hello guys and welcome to another episode of The Letter, Hana Edition. Yeah, last episode, seen some spooky stuff with Hana, though she is not as spooked as Isabella was. Not doing the greatest to maintain our relationship with Luke, I will admit. We will continue on that because I kind of like the marriage. I thought there were some nice spots, nice moments here and there. Oh yeah, letter time. Always a fun time. Very weird on viewership, by the way. Like one of the letter episodes, I didn't even notice it was like 50 views, and I was like, "What? That's a lot." And then you check last episode, and it's like 4 or 5 views, and I'm like, "What?" It like fluctuates very weirdly. Maybe it's because it's a funky game. I don't know, but dude, I'm just here to enjoy the ride. Again, we want to aim for everyone lives. My ships are Isabella Ashton and I like the Hannah Luke thing. I think maybe a Hannah Zachary thing's possible, though Zachary does seem to be the type of guy who wouldn't really approve of that kind of relationship. I don't know. But yeah, let's get going, I guess. See if Hannah actually experiences anything overly spooky. And let's see if we can save the marriage. Because so far we got two bad, one good. So luckily it's not that far down, but I want to at least by the end of this have it a bit over. I feel like is the better one. I don't know if this threshold. I mean, this is just the starting for threshold, but I don't know if you need a percentage over or under. Yeah, let's get started. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found. Trying to call him on his mobile is a bust, as it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today, of all days, is every bit upsetting because of what's to come. The morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I haven't had the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent once again from his duties. Really hammering that point down, huh? Hopefully he'll be back in time for the party. This is our house after all. A grand housewarming party for the wonderful Wright Mansion. Every person of importance from Luxembourg is invited, and there will be a few guests flying in as well. Of course, there will be people from the media, along with friends and acquaintances, who are made no less important regardless of their status in society. Mary Ann and I discussed business and the last minute touches to the house before finalizing everything. Not that there is much change from our original plans. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted is completely practical. In the end, he had a quizit? Whatever, giving up. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we have a little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests to spend the night. We absolutely have to. If we absolutely have to, we often choose to foot the bill for their visit on one of our hotels instead, always at Luke's own insistence. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay, the bedroom in the opposite wing is still up to the task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. You may as well let me have this one thing.
No, I did not agree to him having a helipad.
All right then.
Wow. Buzzkill.
Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his requests right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where? I don't.
No, he's not around.
Maybe ask Johannes. She didn't have to point out the obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I'd already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still not, apparently.
But don't you have a party?
Hey, Marianne, you're prying. I want nothing more to complain, to whinge about how unfair this is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply taboo among high society. To do so will make you a ripe target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, the lot of them, really. Or most of them, at least. There are always good ones like Rochelle Lee. But don't put your trust in the wrong person and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting. He's having character problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Don't know if Luke's the best person for that. Perhaps I'm being a bit too rash, a bit too hot-headed in divulging details. But I thought myself clever with the plan to dress it up as gossip. Mary Ann's raised brow made me unsure whether she is interested or not. Although that does make things better if she has no interest and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize whatever I might say to her.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband.
Okay. Some projecting.
But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...
Do I want her to be honest? I don't know. I feel like Marianne usually doesn't care? But she's sort of a straight shooter, so why
Be
not?
honest with me, Marianne.
Real
I don't
talk.
need someone to sugarcoat it.
We were boosting the Marianne bar. Need to boost the Luke bar.
I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
Feel like we're going the anti-loot route. She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee while stirring to my own cup of tea. The silence stretches on, and I almost believe that she will never answer my question. I suppose that I shouldn't blame her, putting her in a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though I loathe to admit it. She simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then she speaks.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask.
Oh god.
This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
Uh-oh. It's my turn to hesitate now. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. And to get to the heart of the matter, I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. Or is it really that bad that an outsider can see our little marital troubles? Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? We put up the act of a perfect couple for years, although it hadn't always been an act. Marianne is just more keen than the average person, of course. It is a necessity to her career, and she's been working so closely with us. Yes, that's it.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I
Based.
don't want to meddle.
Good one.
But if
Oh.
the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
So you're saying they should divorce?
Ooh.
Nothing as drastic as that. If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place.
Marianne with the straightforwardness, huh?
We shouldn't let our fear control our lives.
I don't know, dude. It's not going the way I want it to. Even though I don't really know why I want Luke and Hana to stay together. Dude, the toilet bowl scene, though. Good scene.
But it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships. So grain of salt and all that.
She trails off, having said her piece, and then leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There is a calm despite the nature of what has just been discussed. To say that our words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice is a lie. And to say that this might be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where our relationship can bring us. At the same time, 7 years. But it hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements will turn into an all-out resentment. The idea that we will grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. We can get through this, right? I know that I still love him, and I feel like there's still a part of him that loves me in return. We just need to get our heads together and talk it out. Okay, well, Hana seems to be, maybe it's going well. I don't know. I mean, we are choosing the options that are more, free and less being, like, pitiful to Luke or whatever, which is probably a net positive for Hana, so. See if we can hash it out, Luke, without me being weird about it. There's a cough before Marianne clears her throat. It must have been quite quiet for so long, and I move to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down or not.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive.
It's super early.
Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
Okay, never mind. For some reason, I thought she was saying people would arrive already, but it's like morning. But she means set up the party. Journal update. How are we doing? 28. Hana and Marianne were seen discussing the mansion's finishing touches before the housewarming party. On a whim, Hana asked for Marianne's opinion about a certain couple having marital problems. He leaves the former with something to think about after the latter excused herself from attending the party. The scene outside the parlor is a great organized mess. Aside from our own household help, we hired the service of the temp agency, which provides staff for the right enterprise in the hospitality sector. Even our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and their staff captains move about in droves, carrying crockery and serveware good for serving dozens of people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johannes, looking like a scared little chicken, Wait, looking like scared little children as he escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar. To peruse the starts to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Snell, we have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails.
Oh,
Snails are for the dishes.
dude, I love me some snails. A string quartet readies up to play for the evening, tuning their instruments as they fill the air with idle chatter. Floral decor where thousands fill vases, wreaths, and baskets, while petals are scattered along the driveway up front. Ooh, look at that cape and the freaking reindeer ice sculpture. An ice sculpture of a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cape, just a 5-tier white chiffon one with white chocolate, mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. Never tried edible gold leaf, though. One day, I would like to have something with it in it. But despite the fact that I told Marianne how I will attend to all of this, I find myself unable to focus or care for any of it. I still have our discussion running in my mind, and looking at all this, I can only see Luke everywhere. These are all the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering, with only a select few invited, namely the people who I would actually trust to enter my home. I did not want any bloody politicians or paparazzi in here, no matter how used I am to catering them.
At least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
The entire thing screamed Luke right. I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. Where did I lose myself? When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays, isn't it? What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? I used to be my own woman who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly that I still am today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip sitting pretty. I also lauded for my knowledge and talent. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me, just because my father owned the company. I had insisted that I started at the bottom so I could work my way to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money, and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. There was the calculation of financial risk, cost reduction opportunities, auditor liaison, and public relations, supervision of staff, and, well, I generally had a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, that I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth craving for my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it all was. And Luke, oh Luke, the way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took a genuine interest. He had me disgustingly obsessed since day one, hasn't he? He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, and both my faults and my achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress or some prize to be won. I remember the nights before we were married where we talked about everything and anything. From big things like business, society, and philosophy, to little things such as what we had for breakfast or whether we liked cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? They told me that my husband preferred wives who were docile and subordinate. A woman who will always be there for him, yet would never outshine him in all aspects except beauty. A wife needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children, and to take care of them in his absence. They say I had no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society, but I listened. Before I can fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my attention.
The guests have arrived, madam.
And Luke?
Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
Unlucky.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him. Open the doors then. We mustn't tarry.
Bro, imagine if he's dead from the curse. That'd be terrible. We could have saved him if we raised our relationship. Cars line up the driveway, peppering the front of the mansion with vehicles of every kind. Grand tours, supercars, and an odd high-end muscle car or two. Convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen being parked by valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it's too troublesome to bring their own cars. There are at least 2 different media vans as well. They're all here for what might be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxembourg. So far, who knows what we'll plan for the winter holidays. Love the confidence.
Welcome, welcome everyone. Please make yourselves at home.
Some of the guests idle, enjoying the warm, if not strange sunshine we are experiencing before gloomy skies inevitably return. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power, the ties that bind these individuals, here whether through convenience or necessity. However, there are a few who are not here to further cement their current place in high society. Such as a young man with his oriental air, ignorant of the looks he receives from women and men alike. Oriental air, huh? That's one way to put it. You just got that Asian aura, you know?
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
Or that rose-haired woman talking on her phone while she looks unsure of why she is here exactly.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
I see Zachary, the photographer, as well. He talks to a few of the other media crews with an air of familiarity.
I was just here a few days ago, yeah. And the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
I invited Father Norman too. Oh, it's the priest that we didn't talk to. Instead, we talked to the professor guy, psychologist, and ethno guy. It's the least I can do after he blessed the mansion on my request, aside from my small donation to the church, of course. But the poor man had taken ill and went through a nervous breakdown of some sort the other day. Oh man, he got cursed. And then there are people like the chief inspector. People who I can never be too sure about. So is just anyone allowed to come? Like, why is Ashton and Rebecca here? I assume, like, obviously they're not invited. So they're just here for fun. People who I can never be too sure about. People who stand on the border between being suspicious and being trustworthy.
Thank you for the invite, Anna.
I haven't seen your wife yet, Rochelle.
Husband still missing, I see.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again?
She told me she'll just be in the gardens. Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies. It's no offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Ooh.
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
Don't jinx it.
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal, you've hidden his body. I was wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too. It's a plate that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches.
Good one.
Looks like it's too late for that.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Oh, relax. I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead. The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough. I could use a glass of wine or 3, actually. Rochelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out. Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
I wouldn't know, would I?
Still no plans for a baby? Well, I guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
Have I mentioned how I don't trust him no matter how hard I try to do so? At least he brought a gift, I
Why
suppose.
don't you just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
I liked him. I don't know. I don't find him too suspicious. Yeah. Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. For some reason, I was gonna say, like, maybe his wife and Luke is having an affair, but when he said his wife's in the garden, then makes me think that's not the case. Because that would be kind of spicy, I guess. Yeah, I totally dumped the theory of Marianne and Luke, by the way. It was dumped. I blame Hana for the misunderstanding. We talked about that an episode or two ago. When we have our short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each of them. As the first hour passes us by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the porter instead. I have other duties to attend to now. Nice. It's full. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure your guests are well fed, have good company, and have them generally enjoy themselves. So my opening remarks are done when the band had started to play and the guests have started eating. I find myself wandering around aimlessly unless I'm pulled aside. For a while, I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having troubles with his daughter. He wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more but to make music. One of our hotel managers worry about stolen belongings of one of his patrons, a failing in security which should be brought up to higher authority soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. And then there's this rose-haired woman once again. It's hard not to notice her with her distinctive locks. Also, she lacks the grace the other ladies have, though that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and the air she exudes instead are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach intrigued, although it's no great mystery that what accompanies her own attention. With glances she keeps sending towards the boy with the oriental hair. She remains unaware though, even as I stand beside her pretending that I'm there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by and it is a wonder he doesn't hear what I say.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
Thumbnail. In all my life, I've never seen a face grow red so fast. I try to do the non-spooky thumbnails when I have a chance. You know, not to spoil any spooks, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta do it, right? The shade of her hair did not help as well. It is the most pink I've ever seen on a person. Really.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact.
Okay. Yeah, nice conversation, honestly.
Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
It's more the latter currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly
Oh my
find a
god,
body
don't do
there.
this. Why is there so much foreshadowing to Luke being dead? My boy. At very first I feel the burning of someone's stairs. It is chilling, and though I'm used to enduring the gaze of others, this one marks the hairs on my back of my neck stand up. Yeah, we can guess who that is. Kyoto. We don't have a name. Fucking. You are so scary. Holy shit, that actually spooked me. You knew it was coming, but they do a great way to just throw her into scenes, huh? That was spookier than last episodes. My attention is pulled from the girl and I see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty. She looks more like a beggar than a guest, and I have half the mind to call security at her when her mouth breaks into a grin. All I hear is her laughing, taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I'm nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then, in a blink, she's gone and the buzz of the party returns. I like the little spooks. Because you never know when they're gonna hit you with a freaking quick time event, but... Kyoto, no scaring. It's rude. We're partying.
I'll keep that in mind, but are you alright?
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light. Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
The name is familiar like a fond memory. Do they know each other? Huh. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor, treated me like her own daughter when I was young. Ah, so she does have some clout. Huh. She'd even bring me food, and there's no need to do so. And I'm assuming that she's talking about her mom or her aunt or something. Obviously, I assume Rebecca's either the same age or probably younger than Hana. Usually stovies, which I honestly hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them for me.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way.
Ah. So maybe, like, once we switch POVs, they're gonna show that they're using Becca's invitation to investigate the house, maybe?
But yeah, that's me.
Maybe
Little
Ashton's
Becky.
Ashton's
We
snooping
met once
around.
before.
Yes, oh, I remember you! You were the cutest little thing with glasses! And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A.
All the way back then, huh?
What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
The more I list off the names, the more red and more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I have triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely I hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone with an earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
And a tad bit sad.
This is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Hannah's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and
Oh
hope
my
for the
God.
best.
Oh, the
If you
stuff.
love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own.
It's honestly like
Like
motivation.
everything, you have to work at it.
It's like motivation that can either lead to like a divorce or like a rekindling of the marriage. We just need to steer it properly and boost that relationship bar.
But what do I know?
There's a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
That is a long time.
17, actually.
Still a long time for an unrequited love.
But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense.
Sorry, Becky. Think I might have reduced the chances of this ship happening, though. Who knows in the future? Maybe Isabella actually died underneath that desk. Worst ending incoming.
I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway.
True.
It's
Probably.
going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans. It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow summer dress or the pink blouse and petticoats? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. She was ridiculous remembering all that years later, talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. It's so easy to say such things with me not knowing any better. Though, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at the time, enough for her to take it to heart. But that didn't matter in the moment, as I'm all over what she's just said in my head. What Betty told me is different from what Marianne told me. There's no time to ponder over that, however, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. The music of the streams and the chatter slows to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer opens. The last of the latecomers should arrive moments ago. And anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. You know it's gonna be Luke, maybe. This can only be one person, or rather, one man. There's only one man who is audacious enough to arrive at his own party so late.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party? I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
Dude. I like I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to its presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there's no spotlight that shone. And I never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks. How they listen enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hand here, a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that if he's not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me, and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I seduce myself from Becky's side and I make my way to Luke's.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
There's a round of applause, cheers, and even some hoots. Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It is because of that that I do not see her. I do not see her until she's dangerously close with feeling her eyes and she's already spitting venom. The fuck is that? Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. Oh, it is, what's her face? Yeah. Policeman's wife, Rochelle Lee. The Wright Mansion officially opened its doors with a grand housewarming feast. Zachary Steele, Ashton Frey, and Rebecca Gales were seen attending. However, what was supposed to be a day of merriment turned sour when Rochelle Lee, the chief inspector's wife, accused Luke Wright of fathering her unborn baby. That's a little spiced up. Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. But that does little to deter her rage, and the man has no choice but to let her go unless an unborn child is hurt. Although it might be too late for that, as I see an emptied wine glass in her hand. How much was she imbibed in?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to
God.
you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard, standing there with your smarmy smile!
She interrupts me, jabbering her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out among the guests, all I can do is focus on the heat of the moment. Oops. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of the alcohol on her breath. I'm not tipped off about this little displays of her, at least not yet. But I'm absolutely pissed by the fact that she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. True. There's a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle.
Bro, he's cheesed.
Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
Yeah, get out of here.
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
I'm just about to ask that exact same thing.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee, collect your wife right now.
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass! You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens!
Excuse me? What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad.
Dude, for some reason I'm smelling a setup, which is weird. I don't know who would bait. I think maybe Luke did get her pregnant, but I think someone might have baited this whole thing. I don't know who. Johannes? I don't know.
Has anyone seen the chief inspector?
Lee? Question mark?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility. God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
Oh, God. What? What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Of course not.
Lies and slander, woman! Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby? Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
Oh my god. And Hana liked Rochelle too. It is now that Johannes returns with security along with the concerned look of Officer Lee. They surrounded her and moved to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he had heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. I mean, I would too. I am hard-lined, not okay with cheating at all. But just, I don't know, dude. I believe it, but I also feel it's weird. And also possibly that she's drunk, so yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. We'll wait on it a bit.
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is.
I don't know, Johannes. For some reason, you're sketching me out, dude. What if Johannes did hear the crying in the last episode and he's a freaking mastermind?
You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Oh, it's not gonna be looking good for their image, by the way. It's paparazzi and shit. Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Yes, that's right. There's no way that what Rochelle says is the truth. What she says doesn't match up. I know, Luke. If such a scandalous meeting are to be arranged, she won't do it in such an exposed place, especially not near his precious flowers. That's what I think is the most suspicious. Obviously, there's the whole Luke doesn't want to have a baby with Hana because he's super responsible, which makes also sense, which makes me think that he didn't cheat also, but it's a lot less sus to me than meeting in the garden. For some reason, that's, I don't know, something funky's going on here. And he definitely won't promise responsibility over a child unless it can be helped. Besides, Luke will never go as far as to sleep with another woman, right? Okay, fine. Who am I kidding? If I'm to be completely honest with myself, he might cheat. Yeah, I feel like that's, you know, as sad as and I said I don't like that, but definitely seems to line up with his character, but this does feel like a setup. With a bit of temptation and a bit of alcohol, he just might. And that doesn't that make my blood boil to even think of the slightest possibility of infidelity? Lee isn't too far off when he told me how Luke still acted like some young hotshot bachelor. It starts to make me think, dude, I don't know, dude. This is obviously just your opinions and stuff. This is the Marianne take. This is the Beck take. I for some reason maybe I just want to see I want to see them work at it, dude. I want to see them work at it. Boost that Luke relationship. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Becky's words are still fresh in my mind, and I can't help but to think that girl, plucky woman that she is, has a point. If I love Luke, I'll have to fight for him, don't I? So far, I've been doing nothing but sitting on my behind, hoping it'll fix itself. That is true. It does. I think there are some good points that she has been very passive and weirdly not vocal enough. Which, again, it could go either way, but I don't know. Whatever. This whole mess definitely isn't gonna fix itself. How dare that woman try to drag her name and our relationship through the mud with her lies. And at my own party. Determination fires me up as I take a step forward into the middle of the fray. All the while, she's been screaming. I signal for security to stop, and I can already feel the glower on my face as I stare into hers. She wilts as soon as she sees me. She starts to grow anxious, and her protests die down. Yo, beefed up. I can see her haughty, angry expression turn into a horrified realization. Rightfully so, she should be scared. What is that thing they say again? Never wake a sleeping dragon. They often think that Luke is the one in charge, and that he is the one to be feared and appeased. They think as me only as the pretty wife. They forget that I am just as capable, just as worthy of respect.
I invite you, my friend, into my house on a day of merriment.
Dude. I don't want to say killer, but verbally killer.
And you insult my name and accuse my husband of infidelity. What have I ever done to make you treat us with such disrespect? You are no longer welcome in any of our states, our properties, and our businesses.
Also,
And
your
we
hair.
will no longer
Damn
patronize
it!
yours.
I was trying to be funny, but then I mistimed it. I was trying to say also your hair looked bad, even though we only saw the back of it.
Now,
I
escort
ruined the
girl
joke.
and make sure she isn't standing even an inch within our grounds.
She looks devastated. Reasonable. This does make her into a pariah, doesn't it? Dude, she was getting drunk with a baby in her. That's it's not a responsible thing. Can't really feel sympathy for doing that either. At least in my opinion. I should feel concerned, but I can't find even an inkling of mercy within me. I don't know what her plan was. I don't know what she wanted to make out of this. The money? Luke? It doesn't matter what she wanted.
You won't show your face to me ever again if you know what is good for you, Rochelle. Take her away.
The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is so set that one can practically hear a pin drop. There are worried and almost fearful glances from some of the other guests, but they all know this is well within my right. She is the one who started this whole dilemma. It just so happens that I'm the one ending it. So I'm guessing she would have went off on Luke if she chose the other one, but that would have been, I don't know, just honestly, in my opinion, I think going on Rochelle is like just the better option. I believe her over Luke. It sounds a little funky, but again, very topo, and yeah, I don't know. As long as everyone hold their tongue and don't interfere, none of the consequences matter to me. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. Yo, he likes it when we take control. Now, the two messes we made, the silence one where we didn't stand up for ourselves was obviously a mistake. I don't really know what I should have done for what we were doing. Like, why would we lie about the garden thing or tell the truth about Zachary? I don't know. It feels like the Zachary one's still the better option in my eyes, but who knows. It almost seems as if he's proud of what I've done, and that spurs me on more than anything. Nonetheless, I still act upset because this does not change what just happened. He still has a lot to answer to, because even if the woman is lying, there's always an inkling of truth in every lie. So when I turn to him to say that the shock he displays brings me gratification is an understatement. Of course, there's no reason to make a husband and wife spat into a public spectacle. Some privacy will generate the least number of headaches and complications. Everyone is still far too busy in the ballroom, and most of the staff are still in the kitchen. A sharp glance at anyone who will go through the doors is all it takes to make them retreat. Okay, I think we'll end it here. Spice up the party. How will this end? I don't know, dude. But matchmaker Aiden's back on the scene. Slightly above average. We're aiming to the top here. Sorry, Marianne. Even though we were buffed up too. I'm saving this marriage. Got a little spooked there too with Kyoko. But yeah. We're gonna end it here. Thank you guys for watching as always. Hopefully you enjoy, and we will continue with the interrogation of Luke and see what's up. Did he cheat with Rochelle once? Or was Rochelle telling the full truth? I don't know. Guess we'll find out next time. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!